I was corrected by a gentleman who said that one person was injured inside of his home and they did attribute it directly to the tornado. But sometimes if there's a tornado afterwards, people who have medical conditions or whatever, that's one of the reasons. So Springfield was actually the latest one. If you're wondering about it, we get about 8 a year in the whole New England area. Massachusetts, we usually get 3 in any given year. There have been 34 killer tornadoes. I mentioned the Worcester tornado. Does anyone remember the Worcester tornado? Yeah, that was a big one. That tornado, in fact, if I give you a quiz question, and I said, which state has the most deaths per square mile? You'd probably say Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Iowa, somewhere in there. The actual answer is Massachusetts. We're a small state. We had this incredible outbreak of that tornado in 1953. And so we are known as the state with the highest death toll, per size, mainly because we're so small. And that's the reason. So that's why I say it will statistically take 1,000 years for that to even out. So we do get tornadoes. They're rare, but when they do happen, they're very, very dangerous out there, and they're very deadly. Sometimes because we're not used to it. This happens to be the Springfield tornado one. I don't know if you ever saw pictures of it. It cut right across the river. Beautiful. I mean, again, I'm using the term beautiful in a bad way because I look at it and go, it was just stunning to look at. It was amazing to look at. And Munson was destroyed by this. And I'm amazed that more people weren't killed by that outbreak of tornadoes. That was back on June 1st of 2011. That storm had 6 tornadoes in it. It really wasn't that big of a storm, but I just want to get a couple more pictures of it there. But again, the biggest one we had there was an EF3, the Fujita scale that we talked about. But if you go out and you saw the damage, especially the Brimfield Forest, it's like every tree out there was just ripped up out of the ground and thrown. And there were people in there. How they weren't killed, I don't know. It was just amazing to see this damage. In fact, you can still drive out there and see the scar on the land of where it's at. We fly the helicopter over, you can see where the trees were moved on out of there just because of that storm. So that was on June 1st, 2011. Here's a story. Harvey was actually on vacation in Israel during the storm. So David Brown and I were doing this storm. And we were on the air for, 6-7 hours straight talking about this tornado eventually coming in towards Boston. So we covered the storm right and left. So the next day, the Boston Globe is looking for a quote about the storm. Well, they track Harvey down in Israel, and he gets a quote on the front page of the Boston Globe. And we're going, Harvey, how'd you do that? And, I don't know. But it was a very funny one. And he's upset because he missed it. And for years, this is another one, Dick Albert and Harvey Leonard worked together for a long time. Well, Harvey got here just a few months before the blizzard of '78. And he always told Dick, I was here for the blizzard of '78 because Dick missed it by about a month. So he never got to say he was there. So Harvey always needled in for years. So guess which one I tell Harvey about? Oh, you missed that tornado in Springfield, didn't you? So we talk about that. That storm is, by the way, I'll show you what it looked like on radar. We have some really incredible tools. But this is what it looked like during that storm. And we can actually take away the light rain from it. And I looked much younger. I didn't have as much gray hair back then. It wasn't that many years ago. But we can actually start to take these storms apart. And I have some new tools that we're going to be using this year with our radars. I kind of play with the computers. I'm sort of the computer geek in our weather office. And we've got some really exciting things that will really help us when we get to severe weather this year. I'm very excited. In fact, they come into work and they look and see what I've done, because I'll take our radar and I'll actually tune in to another part of the country so I can play with their storms and see what's happening. Just to see what happens inside these storms is amazing.